This is exactly how to get your social media sparkle back so that you don't feel like you have to create content, you get to create content. Welcome back to another episode of the Founder Diaries. What I'm about to get into is my day off routine that just keeps me creatively energized and balanced and sane, and I know it can do the same for you. Because what if I told you the secret to becoming a better, more long-term creator is to take a day to not create at all? And I already know you're gonna be like, Julia, isn't that super counterintuitive? Doesn't that hurt the algorithm? Doesn't that hurt your chances? All of the things. I know you're gonna ask me. And to that I will say, taking one day off will do absolutely nothing bad to you. And in fact, taking a 24-hour reset from Instagram, from posting, from Instagram stories, full 24-hour reset is actually what I recommend. So this is your anti-burnout, anti-creative rut formula. So let's get into it. I talk a lot about productivity, organization, content creation, being a founder, all of the things, but I don't really talk about the in-betweens, the days where I'm not doing anything, or I'm not productive, or I'm not posting content. And those are actually the days that matter the most. I've said this before because I have an entire Google Calendar video and it's intense. You will see most of my days are stacked, like filled to the brim in my calendar. But then on Saturdays, you will see that the entire day is completely empty, nothing on it. And then you might be thinking, okay, finally, thank God she's a human. And I am a human. But even though I have nothing planned on Saturdays, I do far from nothing. So what I'm about to get into is non-formally what I consider my creative energy day. And here are the exact things that I do in no specific order. And by the way, everything that I'm about to get into is something that I know will help you. I know I have a lot of founders, creators, social media managers, baby CEOs in this community, and I love sharing the systems that work. So in no specific order, the first thing that I want to get into is something that I call the voice note diaries. I've already told you in a previous video that I have an entire folder in my notes app all about my content brain dump. But what I haven't shared with you guys is that I also have an entire folder in my notes app dedicated to just voice notes. And I call this the voice note diaries. Obviously, I had to brand it. I mean, come on, we expect anything less from me. What I want to say about this one is that this does not pertain to content creation whatsoever. And you're going to find that being the common theme of this video is that all of the things that I do on Saturday have nothing to do with social media, but kind of everything to do with social media at the same time. It's just like creative reboot. It's just like a nice little reset for your creative system and just for your juices to flow. Okay, so fun fact, one thing about me, it should not be surprising, but I used to be a huge journal girl, and I just loved the concept of journaling everything out. It was so nice and honestly just very soothing. So I was doing that ever since I was probably 10 years old. But it took me forever. It got to a point where I think it was in high school, I just was like, it's taking so long and I have so many other things to do. And I just didn't have the time anymore, but I still needed a place to express myself. So the voice note diaries is my extremely low pressure audio journal. And this is just where I share all of my most random thoughts, my business ideas, things that I'm doing good, things that I'm doing bad. And there are just no rules when it comes to the voice note diaries. It's kind of your private life journal, just in a digital form. And the voice note diaries is just about the practice of getting things off your chest. It's about the practice of expressing yourself in just a very organic and unfiltered way. Like for example, if you're crashing out, I would much rather you voice note yourself in the voice note diaries than bottle it up. I am a big believer that if you leave things unsaid or if you have things or energy that's bottled up, it's going to impact you creatively and mentally, of course, throughout all aspects of your life. But definitely when it comes to content creation, you're just gonna have a blockage and it's gonna be really hard to get past that. So it's kind of giving you a space to create, and it doesn't have anything to do with social media, but it's just giving you a different outlet to create. Okay, another thing that I do on my off day is to keep my social media sparkle alive and to give myself space to be creative is I micro habit stack. So when you're posting on social media, or if you're a founder watching this, whatever it is, I know you have so much to do. And I know that doing a day of nothing or just sitting around and rotting is not necessarily in our DNA. I know that it can be really hard to take a day off. When I say to you, take a day off, sure, the thing that pops up immediately is I can't take a day off, or I would feel really guilty about taking a day off. And those are so valid. I felt the exact same way until I started to force myself to do it, because I realize that the off days are the ones that are actually like the best for you and your business and your mindset. So what I like to do is micro habit stack. And a lot of the times this is something that I can literally do from bed. Sometimes it's as simple as just like putting on a podcast or an audiobook, something that does not have to do with my field of social media. This is like something that's supposed to be enjoyable, but not something where I'm scrolling. So I put on a podcast or an audiobook and I'll fold laundry, which is something that I need to do anyways. Or I will do something that I'm putting off, like, I don't know, clean my makeup brushes. That's another thing that I usually do. You're still being productive and you're not necessarily like brain rotting. You're actually doing something that you need to be doing, but it's not work related. It's not consuming creative energy. In fact, sometimes, like now that I've gotten into the routine of it, sometimes I feel like the most mundane things are actually the most therapeutic, especially when you kind of can involve ritual around those things. That's why I love micro habit stacking. Like, for example, when you make it a little bit less boring, so like listening to something that you genuinely enjoy while doing something mundane, like cleaning makeup brushes or folding your laundry, it just kind of blends the two and makes it a lot more of an enjoyable experience. Okay, this next thing has helped me so much, and I know that it's going to help you because, again, we're all founders, baby CEOs, creators, social media managers. Like, our to-do lists are long. So on Saturdays, I will turn my to-do list into a to-don't list. I want you to literally list out the things that you think you need to do. Like, list out everything you think you need to do. And then I want you to look at them and be like, what's gonna move the needle? What's actually going to move the needle? What are the things that I actually need to do, whether it's today or this weekend or this coming week, that are actually going to help me and my business progress? Anything that does not fall under that category, anything that does not check that box, cross it out. Cross it out. That is the things that you don't need to do. It's your to-don't list. And I've been there where you feel like your to-do list is just like never endingly piling up and it gets really overwhelming. And that's another reason why I wanted to create this specific video, because you kind of feel like your to-do list begins to cripple you and it becomes so long and so endless as a founder or as a creator or as a social media manager, where you just get really overwhelmed and then you feel crippled by that. And that's exactly how burnout happens, which is exactly why these systems are systems I want you to implement, because this is your anti-burnout formula. This is a guide to not burning out. Creative people need space to be creative. Which brings me to non-screen hobbies. I am not here to tell you and lecture you to go get a hobby, but it is such a healthy thing to do. Get out of your normal routine and go pick up a hobby. My hobby is horseback riding. I love to horseback ride. It's just kind of my place of zen. I've been doing it since I was a kid. I've been doing it since I was 5 years old. I'm a big believer in taking space from your craft, taking space from your daily routine. If you are someone who works from home and then you spend your entire weekend from home and then Monday comes around and you're still home, all that's going to do for you is block you. It's going to creatively block you. It's going to make you feel drained. You're not going to feel like you've kind of like rehabbed or recouped. So this is going to help you with your creative energy. This is going to help you get your sparkle back. Okay, this is the second to last thing. I don't know who needs to hear this, but being on social media is not you being social. Even though it's a form of connection and it's a great form of connection, it's not the same. Go be around real people, even if that means just going down to your local coffee shop and being around humans, like real humans. Or if it's just going and meeting up with friends for a little bit, or if it's going on a little date night, whatever it is, just go be around humans. This is something that I do every single Saturday. I carve out my Saturdays to make sure that I'm seeing friends. Like, we're very isolated as founders and solopreneurs and creators and social media managers, and you need human interaction. It does spark a different kind of sparkle in you, a creative energy in you, and it just sparks happiness. The last thing that I want to say and the last thing that I want you to do is brain sleep. Obviously, we love our beauty sleep, but more importantly, I care about brain sleep. And I don't know if you guys are like me, but during the week, sometimes I get so stressed or I have a lot of to-dos or all of the things, and I just won't get the best sleep. I know that I'm not getting optimal sleep. So on Saturdays and on my weekends in general, but on Saturdays specifically, I make sure that brain sleep is my number one priority. Most brain regeneration, especially REM and deep sleep, happens in the last third of your sleep cycle. So what that means is that less sleep equals less recovery, which is why having a good solid sleep routine is something that I would prioritize as much as you can. And that's why every Saturday I really prioritize rest. I really prioritize sleep because it does affect your brain, and the brain is the part of you that is your creativity center. So a few things that I recommend for anyone watching is to create a low stim night routine. So very low stimulation, no screens, no phones. I know that that is hard to do, but you gotta do it. Put the phone down. Another thing that is like probably my favorite is my magnesium wind down routine. I love taking magnesium. I take 2 before bed. It just gets me in kind of like a zen zone. I also love an Epsom bath soak. So like Epsom salt is so good for you. It really helps induce your sleep, just calms your muscles, calms your body. And then I love to make an herbal tea or a hormone friendly tea right before bed. Then I also love to do a meditation before bed. And I will pop up some of my favorites that are just kind of like deep breathing, nervous system calming, all of the good things. This is a different kind of founder diaries because so many of us talk about business and growth and hustle and grind. And I think a lot of people are missing the mark on resting and recovering and creatively resetting. All of those things are so important. And if you are not prioritizing them, it's going to catch up to you. I really am the biggest believer that without balance, you are going nowhere fast. I kind of made an unspoken promise to myself when I started the Founder Diaries that I would be honest with you guys and transparent about being a founder and what that looks like. And yes, it's messy and chaotic and crazy and you are grinding, but I would be lying to you if I didn't say that implementing these systems really helps establish that balance. And I really think you will thank me later if you implement even just one of these things. I'm here to help you get your social media sparkle back. I'm here to get you out of a creative rut. I'm here to help you as much as I possibly can. I'm kind of hoping that showing this side of my life and this side of the business is going to help you guys because these are things that I've never revealed before. These are things that I've never talked about on social media. These are things that I've never shared with literally anybody. I really hope you can use this as your off day routine. And I really hope that this acts as your anti-burnout blueprint. Happy Friday, founders. I hope you are taking tomorrow or the next day or whatever day you choose off. And next week, we are planning content. So come back next week. And if you haven't already subscribed, it would mean the absolute world to me. And I do love reading your comments. I am absolutely obsessed with the community that is already building on here. And it's just been nice to connect with you guys and learn more about you, your business, what you want to see more of on here. And so I hope you enjoyed this and I will see you next Friday.